Hi, I'm Jim Shore. A lot of people ask me about the design elements that I use, I put together to decorate the sculptural pieces that I do. And primarily I do versions of two separate elements. One is a quilting element, and then the other one is what I loosely call Rosemaling. It's based on, I'll talk about the quilting at another day. Today I want to focus on the Rosemaling part of it. Rosemaling is a European art style that originated in Scandinavia. It's Norway primarily, and it's spread out in different iterations, including Dutch Handeloopen and German Fraktur and a whole lot of others, eventually becoming what we consider Pennsylvania Dutch. And what it is a combination of curled pieces, swirls, and that sort of thing. It's very organic. It's kind of grows almost like a plant or a vineage would grow, and incorporates also stylized florals in a very stylistic way. Original Rosemaling is very ornate and has a lot of elements. For the sake of my designs, I have sort of distilled it into a simpler form, and I'll show you what I mean. Well, for one thing, I'll show you a couple of examples. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is a kind of monochromatic version of it, but as you can see, in this case, even holly, for the season, and it's got a combination of these stylized floral elements, and then these curls, and one grows out of another, and it becomes very, very cohesively fluid design. Here I've just got the elements that I've sort of taken out and put on here to embellish this tree, to become part of the design work of the tree. Here, once again, on the Santa Claus, it's a simple, stylized version of what has, what I call Rosemaling, but it's actually a style influenced by Rosemaling. And the way it works, I start out with a simple curl, like this. Now I can embellish that too, by adding a second line or something like that to make it have a little bit more flair, a little bit more substance. And then there'll be a companion piece that's like this. And then I may, and this sort of, it's all sort of a random thing. It kind of grows all by itself in a way. I may do something like this. That leaves me an area where it makes sense to put a floral element of some sort in there. In this case, it might be something sort of like this stylized tulip that I often do, or lily, or whatever you want to call it. I guess it's more of a lily, not tulip. And then out of that grows elements like something like this. And then, more of that. And then on that I can even bring something down like this to fill in that. That wasn't very neat. Okay, there we go. Something like that. Then, as this stuff grows, the elements that I use, I may use more of a tulip shape, like this, or I may use more of a rose shape, to add on there. And the way a stylized rose might go, it might go, something like this. And that's, the people out there that are familiar with toll painting or, folk painting will recognize all of these elements. But that's the way it goes. And I fill up the space in an appropriate and proportionate way, and that's just sort of intuitive. But that's the way I do it. And so that answers, I think, a question that a lot of people ask, about how this stuff, comes about and what the dynamics of that creative end of it is. The other part is the quilting, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but hope that gives you an understanding of sort of how I think of when I'm putting together these designs.